Hello, dear students. Let's start our English lesson. And are you still waiting for our English lessons? If so, please tell me, how are you feeling now? Look at this funny picture. Turn to your partner and say, how do you feel today? Are you weird? Maybe you are confident, or maybe you are surprised. As for me, I am happy today because I have lesson with you. What I want you now, look at the faces at this picture. These people are very famous, and you will agree with me that their faces are recognizable for the mankind. And if you answer the question, why are their faces recognizable for the mankind, you will learn the theme of our lesson. Do you have any answers? I think you are right, because the topic of our lesson today is social change and further study. And today at our lesson, we are going to cover the following objectives. The first, we will expand our vocabulary on this topic. Then, your task is to understand with little or no support the main points in extended talks. We are to develop reading skills and find the main idea, paying attention to details of the text. We are to develop our ability to use a variety of words or word expressions about the topic. And of course, you will have a chance to negotiate in a group and work as a team. Please face each other and try to answer the question, what is a social change in your opinion? You can look at this slide and find very many useful words for making such sentences. Please turn to each other and make up one sentence. Thank you. Now, as far as you understood, changes in our life can be for better. Then we speak about improvements or optimization. Changes in our life can be for the worse. Then we will speak about decline or degeneration. All people divide changes into small or big, into major or somewhat smaller. When we speak about major changes in our life, we can speak about conversion, revolution, transformation. If they are smaller, I mean changes, we will speak about adjustment, alterations, amendments, modification. Now at this lesson you will learn a lot of vocabulary. I want to tell you that changes for many people means a change means many things to different people. It enters our life on so many different levels, on personal level, social, cultural, and they take us voluntary or involuntary from known into the unknown sphere. This process of leaving behind the familiar to enter into new and often uncertain territory has its own vocabulary. I invite you to look at a list of some useful vocabulary. This vocabulary will do with the concept of change. Please open your vocabularies and get ready to write down some useful vocabulary. Verbs. To alter. To alter. That means to make changes in something. to amend. To amend means to make changes, and it's often in written documents. And their meaning is to correct problems. Have you written down? To convert means to change one thing into another. It will be useful if you read examples at the bottom of the page. To convert. To modify. This verb means to make changes for improvements. To shift. To shift means to move something to the side. The verb to transform. To transform, it means that changes are completely made. And the example, to transform. Another important verbs are to adapt. To adapt means to change one's behavior to fit new circumstances. To adapt. And to adjust means very similar. This verb is very similar to adapt, but it means to make minor changes in course or actions. Minor changes, like an adapt. Another verbs are to decline. That means to get worse very slowly. To improve. To get better. To optimize. To make as good as possible. And to recover, it means to return to a better position or condition after a problem or illness. To decline, to improve, to optimize, or to recover. These words are nouns. Cycle, a cycle, means changes that circling around and back again. Evolution, it's usually gradual change as time passes. Fluctuation or fluctuations, changes back and forth or up and down in waves. Revolution, it's sudden, often violent change. Transition, it's a gradual change from one condition to another. Cycle, evolution, fluctuation, revolution, transition. Now I want you to do some exercises in keys. In the box you can find words revolution, to modify, to adjust, to alter, transform, adapt, shift, fluctuation, convert, and amend. Your task is to read through the sentence and fill in the gap. In your copybooks, I want you to put 10 numbers. Thank you. Now let's start with the first sentence. They, energy from food into chemical energy called adenosine triphosphate or ATP. Number 2. This bill will give us powers to legislation to reduce burdens. Number 3. Did you need to certain aspects of your design? Number 4. The first after I arrived, my nurse's aide was Antonio. Number 5. The rapid progress in genomics will plant, tree, and livestock's breeding. Number 6. You may wish to brightness, contrast, or color within selected areas. Number 7. Evolution requires species to fit new surroundings. Look which word is better suits here. 8. How can we the curriculum to the needs of disabled learners? 9. We have seen only a slide, there is a gap, in support for either side during this debate. And number 10, development impacts the green. Transformed agriculture in a country where hunger is still an issue today. Now you are going to finish filling the gaps, and the next slide will show you the keys. Check. Number 1, convert. Number 2, amend, modify, shift, transform, adjust, alter, adapt, fluctuation, and revolution. Good of you. Now we are going to test ourselves with the quiz on 10 top famous people better known for their unparalleled contribution in changing the course of the history. Let's start. So on this slide you can find 10 very famous people. What are you going to do? You are going to read 10 short texts about these people and do matching activity. Your task is to choose the famous person from the pictures from A to J, and of course, if it's possible, of course, write their names. Let's start. Number 1. I want to remind you the task. You are going to choose the famous person, put the letter, and write, near you should write the name of this person. One of the most famous of all explorers, he believed he could reach Asia by sailing west across the Atlantic Ocean. And in 1492, he set sail in Santa Maria to prove the theory. Instead, he landed on the islands now known as the West Indies. His discoveries led to the European explorations and settlement of the Americas. Make your choice, please. Number 2. He began his career as a lawyer but became a great political and spiritual leader. He led the peaceful civil disobedience of Indians against British rule in India and negotiated with the British government until 1947, when India was granted independence. He became the first icon of the people's struggle against oppression. His simple lifestyle and his belief in religious tolerance have made him a symbol of decency and peace ever since. Are you ready? Well done. Number 3. This person established the theory of evolution. He began forming his ideas when he served as official naturalist on a world voyage on HMS Beagle and spent the rest of his life back in England developing them. When his famous book, The Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selections, was published in 1859, there were violent reactions against it. He challenged the Bible's account of creation and explained that the human beings are descended from the ape-like ancestor. Person number 4 is generally agreed to be the greatest playwright in the English language. He began as an actor and wrote at least 154 love poems, 37 plays, including Hamlet, King Lear, Romeo and Juliet, and Macbeth. He also probably introduced more than 1,700 new words to the English language. Person number 5. He was German's leader from 1933-1945 During this time, he led the world into the most devastating war in the history. His was hatred of Jewish people, and his desire for a blue-eyed, blonde-haired master race led to the murder of the 6 million people during World War II. Most people died in concentration camps in Eastern Europe. Person number 6. He was one of the greatest of all physicists, and his name has become a symbol of genius. When his most famous work, The General Theory of Relativity, was proven in 1919, he became the most celebrated scientist in the world, and he won the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1921. He was a firm believer in pacifism, but his scientific theories helped his adopted country, the USA, to develop the atomic bomb. A week before he died, he put his name to a manifesto urging all countries to give up their nuclear weapons. This person, number 7, he dedicated his life to the fight against apartheid, a policy which kept black and white South Africans apart and denied black citizens the vote. He was imprisoned in 1964 for his aggressive oppositions to South Africa's racist government and was held for 26 years. In 1990, after his release, he was elected president of the African National Congress. In 1993, he won the Nobel Peace Prize for his work to end apartheid. Now we come to person number 8. This person created the first computer program while still at high school, co-founded Microsoft in 1977, and by 1993 he was the richest man on earth. In 2000, he and his wife formed the foundation, which is the largest charity in the world. One of its aims is to exempt the third war of polio and other deadly diseases. Person number 9. He was a Baptist minister who's campaigned against the segregation of blacks in the southern states of the United States. He was influenced by Gandhi and believed in peaceful protest. He won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. He was assassinated in 1968, but will always be remembered for his dignified, passive resistance to an unjust society. And at last, person number 10. He was a social philosopher who attacked the state and predicted a future in which everyone was equal. He explained his theories in the Communist Manifesto and Das Kapital. His ideas eventually led to the Russian Revolution and communism. By 1950, almost half of the world's people lived under communist regimes. And now I am going to give you the keys. Please remember that your task was to guess, to find the picture of a person. I gave the description, and near with this letter put his name or write his name. Let's check. The keys are the following. J, it's Christopher Columbus. Number F, Mahatma Gandhi. Number H, Charles Darwin. Number I, William Shakespeare. D, it's Adolf Hitler. E, Albert Einstein. C, Nelson Mandela. A, Bill Gates. B, Martin Luther King Jr. And G, Karl Marx. And it seems to me it was very useful information because these people really changed the world and the history. Now we are going to assess your reading abilities, and our learning objectives is to understand specific information and details in the text on the topic Martin Luther King. After reading the text, we will check, will you achieve or will you be working towards, because your task is to answer at least 4 out of 5 on the text correctly, so be very attentive. But firstly, I want to ask you, have you heard of this person, Martin Luther King Jr.? And I want to say that every year on the 3rd Monday of January, people in the United States of America have a holiday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and he was a very famous person. In this text you can meet the following words in which you can maybe find some difficulties. Racist or racial noun and adjective. It means that group of people which based on looks and backgrounds, like white people, Asian people, and so on. To segregate and segregation, it means that these groups of people are divided by race. Black people and white people, for example, they didn't go to the same school. Or they, for example, they lived in different neighborhoods. Minister, it's the leader of a church. Rights, you understand that it's freedoms. Violence, it means that you are hurting or somebody is hurting other people. And to assassinate, it means to kill. Are you ready to read the text? Please, let's start. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was born in Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States in 1929. At the same time in America, black people did not have equal rights with white people. Black people had to sit in the back of buses. The schools were segregated and there were even separate public restrooms for black people and white people. Black people's lives were not very good. He was a minister in the Baptist church. He fought against racial segregation. He wanted equal rights for all people, but he didn't use violence in his fight. He asked people to fight peacefully. For example, he asked black people to ride in front of the bus. More than 200,000 people went to Washington, D.C. to listen to him speak and ask the government to change unfair laws. Because of Martin Luther King, many laws began to change in the United States, but many white people disagreed with him and his ways. In 1968, Martin Luther King was assassinated by a white man. Every year, on the 3rd Monday of January, Americans remember him. They try to remember how much America has changed, and they think how much more America should change in the future. These are the questions on this reading material, and I want to remind you about the learning objective and your success criteria. You should answer, what is racial segregation? What was Martin Luther King's job? How did he ask people to fight for their rights? Did he kill someone? And when do Americans celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day? You have 2 minutes. Let's check the answers. You can see these answers at the slide. Do not forget to tick, have you achieved, or are you working towards? And again, your success criteria is the following. You can answer at least 4 out of 5 questions correctly. Now I want to ask you, how people can make changes in their society? And is it really that higher qualifications and further study can help to make this social change? I want to show you and read together with you a very famous quote of Alexander Tabarrok, who is a very famous Canadian economist, who said one day, "Education is the key to the first future." You have heard it a million times, and it's not wrong. Educated people have higher wages and lower unemployment rates, and better educated countries grow faster and innovative more than other countries. But going to college is not enough. You also have to study the right subjects. That's why we will continue our topic on further studies. And the question for you, answer for yourself, or maybe you will answer it for your partner. Why do young people need further study? And what do you and we mean by further study? And you should understand that if you want to undertake further study, it will often involve you in a significant changes of many things. It will be another mode of life, a lot of time, and of course maybe finance. And of course it's very important to think what is motivating your interest before pursuing a master's or PhD or other courses of study. In recent research in the United Kingdom, scientists have pointed out that there are many positive reasons behind the decision to pursue further study. On the first place goes your interest in a particular subject area. The second place among positive reasons takes improvement of your career perspectives. The third place goes to changing career direction. Then goes requirement for a particular career. Example, if you want to work in a medicine or law or teaching. Then goes a desire to work in academia, to develop a new skill. And the last place goes for personal enjoyment or satisfaction. Now, get ready for a listening task. What do I want for you? Look at this picture, because before we are going to hear a conversation between a university student and a company representative at graduate fair, you need to look at this advertisement and discuss the questions below. I want you to be in pairs and answer the questions. What do you think happens at a graduate fair? And why do you think these graduate fairs are very useful? Thank you. The next question is, why do many jobs require you to have a university degree? And in what case vocational training is more useful than a university degree? Did you catch a question? Please answer to your partner. And question number 3. What, in your opinion, might improve a graduate's chance of getting the job they want? So this picture represents you the annual graduate fair. Here on this slide, you can see the suggested answer. Maybe it was difficult for you to answer some questions. Let's read these answers together. Maybe people from different companies advertise new stuff. Maybe somebody said their displays attract candidates, or you answer maybe candidates seek out job opportunities, or maybe they provide an opportunity for graduates to meet directly with potential employees. There are fewer jobs, so greater competition for each job exists. Vocational training may be more useful as there are more students with degrees, and vocational qualifications may be a more reliable assessment. And skills and competencies for practical jobs where experience counts. Experience in the field, other position of responsibility, engagement at interviewer. Now your task will be, your objective will be understand specific information in speech. You will meet these learning objectives if you can answer at least 8 out of 10 correctly.
Listening. Exercise 3.
Hi there. Can I help you with anything?
Oh, hi. I'm interested in the possibility of a career with TGS when I graduate. So I thought I'd come here and see if there are any opportunities suitable for people like me.
Okay. I'll take a few details from you and then we can contact you when we start our recruitment program.
Oh, great.
So, if you were to work with us, what area would you want to focus on?
I'm hoping to make a career in the field of marketing. I'm quite an outgoing person.
Okay, I'll just feed that into the computer. And what's your name?
It's Dominika Alexandrovna.
Okay, can you just spell your surname for me?
Sure. It's Alexandrovna.
Thanks. It's important to spell names correctly in business.
Yeah.
And where are you from, Dominika?
Well, I was born in Poland, actually, and my mom's Polish, but I'm Russian, because we moved to Moscow when I was very small for my father's job.
Well, I must say your English is very good.
Thanks. I've been here a couple of years now.
Okay, well, we usually get in touch with students a bit later on, and the easiest way for us to communicate with you is by email.
Oh, yes. I can give you my email address.
Fine. Then we can send you any links that you need to read and attach the application forms.
Oh, great. Well, my email address is dom54 at qmail.com.
Right. Thanks. As you know, we like to encourage young people to start working for us as soon as they graduate.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, our interest is related to the class of degree that you get.
Well, I'm hoping to get a 2-1. My tutors are all pretty confident that I will.
That's good. So, which university are you studying at?
I'm just finishing my course at London University.
And I assume you're in the School of Business?
Yes, I've been doing a BA.
And is that part-time?
No, I'm a full-time student. I haven't actually had any experience of business yet. I want to concentrate on getting my qualifications first.
Okay. How have you found the course?
Oh, it's been really good. I've really improved my communication skills, and I've learned how to work in a team as well.
Well, that's good if you want to work in a global company. So, when do you finish?
Well, it's a 22-month course, and I finish in 2 weeks' time.
I see. So, when would you be available for an interview?
Well, I think the 21st of July. I'm taking a holiday on the 12th of July for a week, and I'd need a couple of days to sort myself out after that.
We're obviously interested in your business qualifications, but it also helps if you've done anything in your spare time that shows you have some business-related skills.
Well, I did run a competition last year for the charity Save the Children.
That's just the sort of thing I mean. Shows you have some management skills. Right, and apart from work and study, what do you like to do in your free time?
I'm quite good at cooking. I make sure I eat well. You know, when you're a student, it's easy to forget to eat or to eat a lot of junk food. I do things like watch some of the cookery programs on TV, and then I copy them.
Great.
I'm not very sporty, but I do go swimming at least twice a week. I like to keep in shape.
Have you done any other work in the past that would be relevant to a marketing career?
I did help my father with his business, but it wasn't really a job. I didn't get paid. But I have been a children's tutor. I got that job through the people at my homestay.
That's good. So if you worked for us, how would you see your career developing?
What do you mean?
Well, are you ambitious? Do you want to get to the top?
I guess I'd like to get into management. You know, I'd like to work my way up the ladder and end up as a project manager.
Well, that's about all I need to ask you for now. I'll let you walk around and look at some of our displays.
Thanks.
Can I just ask how you first heard about the fair?
Oh, from a friend. She told me about it last week, and then I looked it up on the internet.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, now let's continue. And these are the answers. You may check your writing. Thank you. Now we will go to our written task, and you will be assessed on 10 right answers. Please look at this graph and the number of graduates and the years, and please fill in or open the brackets for the right answer. I want to warn you that you should make only one grammar mistake, or you have made only one spelling mistake. Sentence 1 has done for you. Number 2, look, not always be. Then 3, experience. Then 4, drop. 5, remain stable. Then you can see the verb to see, to reach, and fall back. Are you ready? Let's check. These are the 8 answers. All of them need to be in the past tense because you saw years, past years. And do not forget to assess yourself. And now we are going to go to our discussion. For this, you need to be in a small group or with your partner, because we are going to discuss this picture. And the question is for you. In very small groups, explain please what it means for you to have these personal qualities in your own words. What does it mean, an eye for detail? What does it mean, creativity, an inquiring mind? What does it mean, the ability to work in a team or vision? What does it mean, an outgoing personality? What does it mean to have good communication skills? And of course, what is it management skills? I want to remind that you will be also assessed on speaking. You have 2 minutes for discussion, and then we are going to exchange our ideas. Don't forget about the task. What does all of these personal qualities in your own words means? Thank you for your discussion, and let's check our ideas. When a person has an eye for details, it means that he or she likes to read documents very carefully, and maybe they can have an ability to focus on small points, checking the accuracy of these documents. If a person, he or she, we speak about his creativity, means that he can think about something in a regional or unusual way. When we speak about a person with an inquiring mind, it means that he or she can come across something new, and he is eager to learn about it. When we speak about an ability to work in a team, we are speaking about ability to work with other people, like part of a team for new ideas. And for vision, means that you can look ahead, you can plan, and you can be useful for company in future. An outgoing personality means that you are very friendly and energetic. A person with good communication skills, he or she can easily exchange ideas with other people. You can listen and you can put in practice ideas. And for management skills, it means that you can look after and organize groups for employees. And please assess yourself and assess your partner's speaking, because your objective was to understand specific information and details. And if you answered at least 6 out of 10 correctly, you have achieved. And at last, we came to the final part of our lesson, and I want you to check, have we overcome these learning objectives today? Look at these objectives again and answer for yourself. Did you expand your vocabulary? Did you understand talk with your partner? Did you develop reading skills, improve your reading and listening skills? And of course, how was your ability to negotiate in a group? And at last, at the end of our lesson, I want to give you a ticket. And at this ticket, I want you to write, what is one of the most important things I've learned today? I would like to learn about, and of course, a suggestion for the next time is the following. And give your name and the date. And for home task, I want you to imagine that you are talking to another student who you have just met at the coffee bar at a graduate fair. You will have to introduce yourselves and tell each other about you, your studies, your qualifications, your current job, your career plans and reasons for them, and free time interests and related qualifications. And now I want to say thank you for all of you very much for your attention, for your participation in our lesson. Goodbye and see you.